Today, I'm going to be creating the greatest hockey player of all time. He has the speed of Connor McDavid, the silky mitts of Patrick Kane, the hockey IQ of Sidney Crosby, the hairline of Austin Matthews, and the handsomeness of Leon Draisaitl. Introducing Ben Dover, everybody's favorite 6'9" lanky dumbass. He is back in NHL 26, and he is back to break every single record possible. Wayne Gretzky looked the hell out. Now, Ben is going to be straight up bandwagoning to the Florida Panthers. The back-to-back defending champions, they are set up long-term with guys like Sam Reinhart, Sasha Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, and Carter Verhaeghe as their second line. And then, oh yeah, a guy by the name of Brad Marchand, the Rat. 89 overall, a third-line winger alongside Anton Lundell and Mackie Samoskevich. It is safe to say Ben and the Panthers should win a lot of Stanley Cups. That's not even mentioning the great decor that we have. We got Forsling, Ekblad, Jones, and Mikkola. And then Sergei Bobrovsky, who is a little bit older. He's 36 years old, but he is a 92 overall. Now, the plan is very simple. We're going to try to break every single one of Wayne Gretzky's record, win a bunch of Stanley Cups, and in the process, witness the greatest NHL career that we will never see in real life, because there will never be a hockey player better than Ben Dover. Florida Panthers, year number 1, hopefully a long storied career, probably going to be 20 plus seasons. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and subscribe to the channel. As predicted, Florida had a great regular season. They went 51-25-6, 108 points at the top of the Atlantic, in Edmonton. They would end up winning the President's Trophy. Winnipeg would end up coming in second. We got Columbus winning 55 games, probably the most in franchise history. And then Florida, number 4. Ben is in a great position to win immediately. A very light rookie season for Ben Dover, having 64 goals, 127 points. The man was a plus 30, 101 penalty minutes, and over 400 shots. Talk about a shooter. Sasha Barkov would have 91, Reinhart 82, Matthew Tkachuk 75. Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett were both very solid. And then for Bobrovsky, he had 5 shutouts, only a 904 save percentage. 41 wins is nice, but that's more of a team stat. I mean, he is getting older. This is the only glaring issue that we're going to run into very shortly. We do not have a goaltender of the future. Ben Dover will go ahead and lead the NHL in goals with 64 and points 127. Connor McDavid did get somewhat close at 123. McKinnon had 114. Matthews and Nylander were both very productive on Toronto. Meanwhile, Stuart Skinner will win the most games by any goalie at 43, and Hellebuck will have the most shutouts at 8 and a 922 save percentage. I wonder what his postseason save percentage will be. The quest for our 3rd Stanley Cup in a row begins now. We're actually going to play the Buffalo Sabres in round number 1. A very favorable matchup for Ben's first ever playoff series. As predicted, Buffalo got absolutely smoked. A quick 5-game series as we now move on to play the Toronto Maple Leafs. Haha, suck on that, Toronto. They got put in a body bag in the second round, and now back-to-back conference finals. Actually, this would be like number 5 in a row? No, it would be 4 in a row, my bad. As we play the Detroit Red Wings in the Eastern Conference Finals. Their first time back in the playoffs. They got 0 experience. The Florida Panthers should be able to take over and make the Stanley Cup Finals for the 4th consecutive season. The bad news is we got to go to a Game 7. Ain't no way the Red Wings put that much of a fight up. I thought it would have been much easier than going to 7 games against Detroit, and they're actually leading entering the 3rd. A 2-1 lead over Florida. They're out shooting us. They're outscoring us. Probably out hitting us. It is clutch time now. Can Ben and the Panthers somehow take back this game? Take back this series? We only got 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. No, JVR. James Van Riemsdyk extending the lead. Well, I definitely did not expect to be in this situation, getting eliminated by the Red Wings in the conference finals, but here we are. Less than 2 minutes remain. Can the Florida Panthers mount a comeback and somehow get back in this game and potentially force overtime? We are going to need to see a masterclass by Ben. Back to the blue line. Shot. Aaron Ekblad can't get a shot on net. He's not going to shoot it again. Nobody wants to score. I mean, how many opportunities like that are we going to get left in this game? Dylan Larkin going wide. Larkin centering it. Forsling picks it up, and here comes Ben. 99 overall. He's got wheels. Ben, what are you doing? To the middle. Bend over. Shot. Oh my God. What a rocket by Ben. On the backhander, he's going to try to put it in. It won't go. Reinhart trying to cut out in front. Save again by Cam Talbot. That is not Cam Talbot. I think it's John Gibson. 30 seconds. Lucas Raymond getting a little bit of a break. Saved by Bobrovsky. He's out of position. Again, Raymond walking out. And Bob is forced to make the save. I needed to call a timeout. We only have 26 seconds to go. I mean, we got to do something special here, Florida, or our dynasty run is emphatically over. Come on, bend over. Entering the zone, Ben. Poke. Oh my God, a brutal deke. Why? Why are you trying to sauce it across the ice with 3 white sweaters in the way? 10 seconds to go. Rasmussen's into the zone. He's just killing time at this point. The Florida Panthers, they're screwed. Pull the goalie. Let's go. Bend over with an empty net. Entering the zone, bend over, Red Rover. Allow him to take over. But unfortunately, the Panthers will fall in 7 to the Red Wings. They never quit. They never gave up. And in Game 7, they will dethrone the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions. That was sad. I'm not going to lie. In 18 games, Ben was very productive. 16 goals, 29 points, led the way. But unfortunately, he led us to a conference finals loss. Matthew Tkachuk had 25. Sam Reinhart 19, Verhaeghe 16. Barkov honestly was pretty quiet, at least offensively. And then Sergei Bobrovsky between the pipes, he was fine. The man had a .910 save percentage. And to top off all the craziness in year 1, we got the Anaheim Ducks dominating Detroit in 5 games. EA Sports, it's in the game. Bend over, Red Rover, and allow him to take over. He didn't win the Hart? How does he win every single other trophy but not the Hart? Josh Morrissey's going to take home the Norris. Ben will win the Calder. Conn Smythe will go to Ryan Strome, Vasilevsky the Vezina, and the Selke to Anze Kopitar. The Calgary Flames are going to win the draft lottery. Montreal selects 2nd and San Jose 3rd. Goodbye to Logan Couture, who literally already retired in real life. Alex Pietrangelo is done. Shea Weber and the GOAT that is Derek Ryan. How could I forget San Jose Sharks legend Carey Price? Now, one of the good things I did here was remove the salary cap because let's be honest, the computer AI, they can't really build competent contending rosters. So later on the video, this should pay off for Ben. At least we'll have the computer general manager potentially building a good enough team to compete. But in year number 1, the job is to re-sign Sergei Bobrovsky, 37 years old, 91 overall. In year number 1, Connor McDavid never reaches unrestricted free agency. Kyle Connor is available though, 94 overall. He would not be bad. We are actually going to take a swing at Jake Wallman. How much more help do the Florida Panthers need? Anze Kopitar is available, Rasmus Anderson, Gino Malkin. All right, we had a very disappointing season, losing in the conference finals, so it is time for Bend Over to take over and play every single minute of every single game. Essentially going to be the Wilt Chamberlain of the NHL. We got our best players playing the wing. I'm going to move up Sam Bennett instead of Mackie Samoskevich. Anton Lundell, unfortunately, is going to be retained to a 4th-line wing position. Offensively, we're loaded. Defensively, we did not pick up Jake Wallman. And in goal, welcome back, Bob. 91 overall, 37 years of age, and he re-signed on a $7.5 million contract. Hopefully now that Bend Over has fully taken over this franchise, year number 2 will be a little bit better. It is Stanley Cup or bust. Florida yet again is going to hover around where they were last season, 55 wins, 22 losses, 5 in overtime, top of the Atlantic Division, and top of the NHL. A 2nd President's Trophy in the 2020s. Tampa Bay is on our heels. Toronto is still good. Buffalo, I mean, goddamn. Why do we have to play in the Atlantic Division? Can we change divisions potentially? I think we might need to call up Gary Bettman and I might need to have a conversation with him. Bend over, Red Rover. He is officially taken over. 110 goals, the most points at 233. Tkachuk had 104. Verhaeghe. I mean, everybody else is a side character while Bend Over is carrying this roster. And Bobrovsky, 908, 5 shutouts, 42 wins. Not bad. Of course, he's going to have the most goals in the league at 110 and the most points at 233. That is a trend that will probably continue for the remainder of his career. Connor McDavid had 116. Draisaitl 112, Kyle Connor 104 on the New York Islanders. This man signed in New York on a $13.8 million contract as we try to reclaim our throne as the best team in the National Hockey League, winning Bend Over's first Stanley Cup of his career. I don't know how adding in a 99 overall player has suddenly made the Florida Panthers not a playoff team. I mean, we got destroyed by Washington in 5 games. It was not even remotely close. It wasn't like it went to 7. Just bad luck. They straight up outclassed us from start to finish. We got destroyed. Oh, EA Sports. I mean, Ben did try 8 goals, 11 points. He was a -3. Unacceptable. Barkov only had 5 apples. Reinhart 5 apples. Nobody else helped out Bend Over. That man was on a one-man mission to carrying this team to a Stanley Cup. I guess maybe they got their cups. They're not really going to try anymore. They got a little bit too relaxed being the best team in the league as the Dallas Stars get it done in Game 7 over the Philadelphia Flyers. Yet again, again, Ben is going to take home the Selke, Ted Lindsay, Maurice Richard, Art Ross and Hart Trophy, Hedman the Norris, Gavin McKenna the Calder Trophy, Mikko Rantanen the Conn Smythe, and Andrei Vasilevsky the Vezina. The Utah Mammoth will win the draft lottery for the first time in franchise history. Minnesota second, I guess Kirill Kaprizov took off. And then we got the St. Louis Blues, number 3. One of the greatest playmakers of all time, Nicholas Backstrom. This was the guy that was giving Ovi all those one-timers for all those seasons, literally like 15 plus years in Washington. Damn, in year number 3, the guy had 33 goals and 101 points. Never reached those totals ever again. Luckily, everybody is locked up long-term. Our core will remain, but I gotta be honest, we gotta change some things if we want to win a Stanley Cup, because right now, we absolutely stink. Bendover is still a 99 overall on the best roster in hockey. We gotta win another Stanley Cup. Ben's gotta get it done. Oh my God! We picked up Quinn Hughes, 97 overall, 27 years of age, offensive defenseman to add to the Florida Panthers. We're gonna be completely unfair. While we also still have Sergei Bobrovsky as our starting goaltender. If we don't win, there is a serious issue. Bendover with the captaincy just feels right. Ryan Suter is currently the head coach of the Florida Panthers. What world am I living in right now? A good defensive defenseman back in the day, retired. We fired Paul Maurice, I guess, after the very disappointing playoff exit, and now Ryan Suter is the guy to lead us to another Stanley Cup. We are going to have yet again a very similar record, 53, 22, and 7, top of the Atlantic, second best team in the NHL, only behind the 60-win Columbus Blue Jackets. They have completely turned around their franchise. We got the Buffalo Sabres winning 49 games. Carolina is still contending. Washington was up here. They did beat us last season. And the Los Angeles Kings, the basement of the NHL. Bendover is only going to have 90 goals this season and 198 points, a slight step back from last year. He's 21 years old, has had a pretty good start to his career, putting up a lot of totals, but I thought he would be a consistent 200-point player for most of his career. Quinn Hughes had 80 points on the back end. Marchand with 32 goals and 79 points at age 39. Kachuk was decent. Carter Verhaeghe did his job. Sam Reinhart was good. Literally everybody chipped in offensively, and then Sergei Bobrovsky held down the fort. We get to play the baby Maple Leafs in round number 1. Should be a nice Game 7 victory, because that is how it always goes. Oh my God, we are on pace for disappointing playoff exit after disappointing playoff exit. Down 3-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. Luckily, we force a Game 6. Can we force 7? Do we have any fight left in us? Unfortunately, we did not. Dude, I literally thought joining Florida would be the most overpowered thing of all time, but it's proving to be the worst decision I have ever made. Bendover had 5 goals and 15 points in only 6 games. I don't know how we could have this productive of an offense and still lose in 6 to a team that honestly we should not be losing to. Sergei Bobrovsky, dude, you might need to be replaced. The Anaheim Ducks are going to win their second cup of the video, dominating Washington in 5 games. Bendover is the greatest hockey player that has ever lived. Zach Werenski will win the Norris. We got Shorzy the Calder, Mason McTavish the Conn Smythe, and Connor Hellebuck the Vezina. At least Los Angeles will get a top draft pick as they get selected first overall, winning the draft lottery. We got Vancouver number 2 and Philadelphia 3. Yevgeny Malkin is calling it a career as a Winnipeg Jet. Erik Karlsson is gone. Brent Burns, Corey Perry, Jonathan Taves, Captain Sirius. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I do not believe Ryan Suter is the guy to lead us to a Stanley Cup. I don't know if we're going to go after anybody in free agency. We did pick up Quinn Hughes last season. Any good goaltenders available? I mean, Sergei Bobrovsky is the best guy out there at an 88 overall. We might be cooked. In theory, this roster should be good enough to win a Stanley Cup. We got a 99 overall down the middle. We got the best defenseman, probably the highest rated guy in the game, unless Cale Makar is like a 98 or 99 at this point. Great chemistry on our D-core, and then not the greatest goaltenders. We got a 34-year-old Matt Murray as our starter. Matt Murray before Grand Theft Auto 6 is crazy, I'm not gonna lie. The good news, though, is that we are in it for the long run. Bendover most likely is gonna have a 20-plus year career, so even if we don't win in the first 5 seasons, we still got tons of opportunities to get it done later on. We are not gonna win our division this season. We won more games at 50, 27 regulation losses, 5 in overtime for 105 points. Toronto had 2 more points, despite having less wins. But again, the regular season success is is what it is. Top 2 teams in the entire NHL reign from the Atlantic Division, which means it's going to be tough. Ben had 95 goals, 197 points. I don't know why year number 2 is so goddamn successful. He's kind of come back down to earth a little bit since then. Matthew Tkachuk had 29 goals, 80 points. Quinn Hughes only 76 for Hagee, 74. I guess Ben is taking up a lot of the offense. He's playing the entire game also. And Matt Murray definitely held us back. The dude had 40 wins, 5 shutouts, and a 903. That's not even that bad for being, what, an 80 overall? Those goddamn Red Wings in round 1, they are done for. Crucified. Thankfully, we got our revenge in 6 games over the Dead Wings, although it was only a round 1 matchup, so we could easily lose in the second round, and all of that is for shit. So I'm praying that the Florida Panthers gets their things together, all the stars can align, and then we can go on a deep playoff run and win Ben his first ever cup. There's no way this game is serious right now. We were down 3-0 to Washington. We claw our way back to a game 7, and watch, we're gonna lose in this game 7. The sim engine is not gonna go our way, and the Florida Panthers, wait a minute, there is hope. 2-0 lead entering the third period. Can the Panthers hold on with Matt Murray between the pipes? Uh-oh, Ryan Leonard on the power play. Matt Murray is not a brick wall back there. Why do we keep giving up power plays? A long-ass 5-on-4 for Washington. We hold it off. Power play. No! A short-handed goal by PLD on Matt Murray in Game 7. I told you guys, the sim engine, there it is. Jacob Chikrin, 5 seconds left, is going to win it for the Washington Capitals. EA Sports, you guys have become so predictable with your sim engine. The fact is, I've just seen it way too many times. The team goes down 3-0, they claw back to make a Game 7, and then they end up losing in that Game 7. Ben would have an electric playoff run. Only had 12 goals, but 42 points in only 19 games. Matthew Tkachuk had 20 points. Marshy is still productive at age 41. Barkov has been very disappointing so far in the video. I'm not even gonna lie. Reinhart was decent, I guess. Quinn Hughes, you're a 97 overall, and for what reason? Matt Murray did his job. I can't get mad at him. McDavid and the Oilers will finally get it done as they beat the Capitals in 6 games. Ben Dover is still dominating the individual awards. Makar's gonna win the Norris. We got Leon the Conn Smythe, Dustin Wolf the Vezina. Vancouver will win the NHL draft lottery. Sidney Crosby is retiring as a Chicago Blackhawk. The dude damn near had 800 goals. Claude Giroux is gone. Jamie Benn. Mika Zibanejad, who's only 36 years old. And no, Shaq Hyman, Oilers legend. He also has retired. Listen, Evan Bouchard is on the market. He wants a lot of money. There's no salary cap. 92 overall at 29 years of age. Alexei Protas is here. Dylan Holloway. Andrei Svechnikov. The good news is we might have an upgrade in goal. We offered Thatcher Demko a contract. I am praying that the man signs. I'm going to need a career season for Ben Dover right now. We are in the midst of probably the worst stretch of his career. We have yet to make a single cup final. We're not doing great in the playoffs. Individually, we're fine. We still got a good D core, great offensive core, and our goaltender, no! We did not get Thatcher Demko. I definitely did not expect to be like 5 years in and not have a single Stanley Cup so far. Safe to say, things are not going as planned. A lot of time left remaining, though. I'm going to remain hopeful that Ben can turn this franchise around and the Florida Panthers can be dominant once again. We have consistently been a 50-win hockey team, as this season we go 54, 23, and 5, top of the Atlantic Division and the top of the NHL. Finally, the breakout I've been waiting for. 118 goals, 246 points. That's absolutely nuts. An absurd stat line to lead the Florida Panthers. Tkachuk was great with a 98. Hughes had 85. Barkov 75. We still don't have a reliable goaltender. Capo Kakinen is our guy right now, I guess, which does not bode well for the postseason. Ain't nobody even going to be remotely close in goals. Fantilli had 64, the most points. I mean, over a 100-point gap. Ben Dover is legit, and this dude is the greatest thing that we have ever seen. All he has to do is win a Stanley Cup as we start out against the Devils in round 1. We completely dominated the Devils in 5 games. It was not close, as we should. The Maple Leafs have been a tough out for pretty much every season of the video. Praying we get it done this year and move on to the conference finals. Washington has been our worst nightmare for the majority of this video thus far. It's about goddamn time we get our revenge. They have been whooping our ass far too long. It's time to force a Game 7. 3-1 lead after 1, 5-2 after 2, and it all comes down to this. Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals once again. Oh my god, Strome and McMichael are going to bring the Capitals ahead in this game, and yet again we're trailing. Yet again our backs are against the wall. It does not look good. Yes, Matthew Tkachuk on Logan Thompson. Uh-oh, power play 5-on-3 for the Caps, 5-on-4. We kill it all off. 7 minutes to go here in the third. Can the Florida Panthers? Yes, Tkachuk again. The third period hero as the Florida Panthers are moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals to play the Colorado Avalanche in a best of 7. This is going to be fun. We're in the same situation, down 3-2, entering Colorado in Game 6. Cup is in the building. We're down by 3 after 1. I think our time has come. We're not going to be Cup champs. I really wanted to force a Game 7, but yet again, the Florida Panthers, they fall short of their main goal. 5 minutes to go in the third period. Wait a minute, Mackie Samoskevich on Mackenzie Blackwood. It's a hockey game. I mean, Ben, it's time. Bend over, Red Rover. It's time to fucking take over, buddy. 1:12 left to go in the third period. We're only down by 1. This is doable. We don't have a lot of time to work with, though. Bend over, driving the net. Ben can't get a shot on goal. And the Colorado Avalanche are going to clear that puck. Come on, move that puck up. No, nobody's there. Where's the full pressure? Where's the full attack that I have listed right now? We're in the offensive zone with 0 forecheck whatsoever. Wenberg, he's going to spin. He literally spun around in the neutral zone. I don't believe it. Voronikov can't get a shot on net. What is this computer AI I'm witnessing right now? This has got to be the biggest crock of shit I've ever seen. Ekblad, move it. Come on, please. There we go. Move it up again. Maybe. All right, here we go. Dump it in deep. Go after it, Ben. 24 seconds to go. Bend over, getting board played. Sends it back to Forsling. Forsling back to Ekblad. Over. Samoskevich can't get a shot on goal. Ben and his big body are using it to be effective, I should say. Oh, no, not a lot of time remaining. 6 seconds to go. It's not going to matter. 4 seconds. The Colorado Avalanche on home ice in game number 6 are going to be able to get it done, defeating Ben and the Florida Panthers in Ben's very first Cup final playoff series. He's been so great individually. This was the most success we've had thus far, and still we are not crowned as Stanley Cup champions, witnessing Colorado win it all. An absolute historic playoff run just got wasted. 25 goals, 63 points in only 24 games, and no Stanley Cup. Matthew Tkachuk at 24, Verhaeghe 22. I mean, Ben really did carry the offensive load. I'm blaming it on the goaltender. We had an .896 save percentage, an 80 overall. Kaapo Kähkönen is just not good enough. Ben is still as individually dominant as he's ever been. Quinn Hughes will win the Norris. The Conn Smythe is going to go to Cale Makar somehow, and the Vezina to Devin Levi. The Flames are going to end up winning the draft lottery. Chicago will select second, and we got Pittsburgh third. Alexander Ovechkin will finish his career with over 2,000 points and 1,100 goals. That is absurd. 44 years of age. Patrick Kane is retiring. Kopitar is gone. Victor Hedman, Nazem Kadri, JT Miller, and Alexander Forgiev, probably for good reason. We have to at least try and pick up somebody here in free agency. Ben is still a 99 overall, getting all that cardio done in the bedroom with Sidney Sweeney. Offensively, we didn't make any changes. We picked up Charlie McAvoy in free agency. Okay. The bad news is, though, we got a 68 overall playing in our decor. And for goaltenders, I think we're going to run back. No, we actually picked up Arthur Shelov's 87 overall, a big improvement over Kaapo Kähkönen. We might actually have a shot. 49, 27, and 6, 104 points. Only third in our division, so not as pleasing regular season as per usual. The Winnipeg Jets were the best team in the NHL, winning 53 games. Colorado was up there, New Jersey, Toronto. We are a top 10 team still. Meanwhile, Bendover basically is in his prime. 110 goals, 218 points. Barkov had 87, Quinn Hughes 77, Carter Verhaeghe 69. Ben has been producing and carrying the offense, while Arthur Shelov's 45 wins, 3 shutouts, and only a 908. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did expect more. Shout out to Ben for being the most dominant hockey player of all time. A 60-70 goal man and putting up over 100 points. The guy has turned into one of the best players, maybe the second best player in the league, of course, only behind Ben. He's absolutely legit. In the first round, we are going to play the Montreal Canadiens. I did not expect Montreal to force a Game 7, but here we are. Game 7 on the road. We got a 4-2 lead entering the third, and we absolutely dominated. Ben had 3 goals and 4 points and was a +6 while also taking 12 shots on goal. That man was shooting. I don't care who we play at this point, but we got to get back to the Cup Finals. We ended last season in an absolutely horrific way. We need to rewrite that wrong, and it'll be back-to-back Game 7s. This one will be on home ice in Florida, though. First period, we get a 1-1 tie. Bend over gets our lone goal. Second period, oh my God. Talk about an absolute disaster. We got blown out 7-2. Bend over has been a great individual player thus far, but he can't get it done in the postseason, so there will always be critics, regardless of how individually dominant he has been. 31 points and 13 goals in only 14 games. He was a -3, though. Tkachuk only had 14, Barkov 12. Quinn Hughes has been honestly very disappointing. The dude is a 97 overall. He should have a bigger impact than what he's been putting out there on the ice. And then Arthur Shelovs, he was solid, .915 save percentage. He had 7-6-1 record, no shutouts. As the Carolina Hurricanes get it done over Minnesota in 6 games in the finals. Bend over is the greatest hockey player that has ever been created. Cale Makar will take home the Norris. We got Logan Stankoven the Conn Smythe and Jesper Wallstedt the Vezina. The Flames are going to win the draft lottery. One of the most underrated players of all time, Steven Stamkos, has called it a career after 728 goals. Mark Scheifele is out of here. Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin, Mikael Granlund, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and then the GOAT, Cam Talbot, also is gone. All right, the fun time is over. I've had enough. The computer AIs are just not getting it done, so I'm taking a swing at pretty much every big-name free agent, trying to add him to the Florida Panthers to make this team a Stanley Cup champion. There we go. Cole Caulfield, welcome to the squad. Matt Savoy doesn't sound like a bad player either at a 92 overall. Let's just create the greatest team of all time. Bendover deserves that with the way he has been producing, so I'm going to try to sign as many big-name free agents as possible so we can ensure a Stanley Cup in the very near future for Bendover. Hopefully this works. Introducing the brand new Florida Panthers. We got Cole Caulfield on the top line with Ben and Matthew Tkachuk. Barkov is down to a 92. A lot of these players are getting older, so they're going to get a little bit worse. I'm going to have to replace that talent, but luckily on the back end, we got Hughes and McAvoy, Ekblad and Sergachev, Gustav Forsling alongside Caden Gooley, and then we literally just signed the Vezina Trophy winner in Jesper Wallstedt. This is a super team. So if Ben is unable to carry this team to a Stanley Cup victory, there's something seriously wrong with his leadership abilities. By far and away the best team he's ever had. He has to get it done, and he has to get it done this season. Otherwise, he's a fraud. Finally, a regular season that I can be proud of. 60 wins, 18 losses, 4 in overtime. Well, we meet again. The Panthers and the Oilers, the best 2 teams in the entire NHL. Somehow Edmonton had 1 less win than us, more overtime losses, and in result had 1 more point at 125. So we didn't win the President's Trophy despite winning 60 games in the regular season. We might actually match up against Edmonton again in the finals, and we got to do what we did the last 2 times. Ben, yet again, is going to crack 200 points in the regular season. Only had 93 goals, so maybe a bit of a playmaker this season. Quinn Hughes would end up having 94. Reinhardt had 41 goals and 93 points. Barkov was very solid at age 36. A lot of offense on this team, and goaltending-wise, finally, 51-15-4, 8 shutouts, and a 9-15. It's about time that we found a goaltender. The Carolina Hurricanes will be our first victims in round number 1. I'm not gonna lie, I am getting sick of going to Game 7s in the first round. This is a 60-win hockey team that can barely beat the Carolina Hurricanes. Thankfully, we do 5-2 in Game 7, and we are going to be moving on to the second round. I don't know what it is, but we always have to take the hardest route. The hardest road to the Stanley Cup Finals is what the Florida Panthers decide to take, and it'll be the Buffalo Sabres in round 2. We are back in the conference finals once again to face the Boston Bruins. We're oh so close to the Cup Finals, but we're getting absolutely smoked right now, down 3-1. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. No matter how good this hockey team is, how good Ben plays, 17 goals, 41 points. Hughes had 16, Barkov 14. Nobody really produced offensively. Ben carried the offensive load, and Jesper Wallstedt, he went way down to only a 900 save percentage. It's just frankly not good enough. We're just not playing well enough in the postseason. Ben's carrying everything, and we are eventually falling to team after team. Colorado will completely dominate Boston in 4 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Ha ha! Vandover still going to rack up all the individual hardware. We got Quinn Hughes winning the Norris Trophy, Cale Makar the Conn Smythe, and Jesper Wallstedt the Vezina. Fraud! Artemi Panarin is calling it a career. Brad Marchand has finally retired at age 44. Sean Monahan is gone. Tomas Hertl, Evander Kane, and Sergei Bobrovsky, longtime Florida Panther, is finally gone. He didn't really help us as soon as Ben got on the roster, though. We got Ben still playing on the top line, but alongside Lucas Raymond and Cole Caulfield now. Kachuk, Ben, and Barkov, Hagel, and Reinhardt on the third line. Defensively, McAvoy, Sergachev, Hughes, and Ekblad, and then we picked up Noah Hannafin in the offseason. We're still going to be running back Jesper Wallstedt at a 91 overall. It is also time now to increase the sim engine scoring to high to make sure Bendover can have the most points possible, and who knows, it might make us a better hockey team while doing so. All right, Pete, to goaltender numbers, as they are going to absolutely plummet now with the scoring being as high as it is. Goalies are not going to simulate well whatsoever. I fully believe this team should never lose a hockey game. Starting out this season 11-0, just like we should be, utterly dominant. I might be getting ahead of myself here, but the Florida Panthers right now are 29-0, undefeated. There it is. I fucking knew it. Why did I open my goddamn mouth? Every single time I do so, something bad happens. I don't even care about the regular season. It would have been nice to go undefeated, but that was never going to happen. 33-1 sounds pretty good to me, as long as we go 16-0 come playoff time. No doubt this was the greatest regular season of all time. 73-7-2, 148 points. It was not even remotely close. Bendover had the most individually dominant season I have ever seen. 189 goals, 354 points. Bonkers. Barkov had 154, a brand new career high at age 37. Matthew Tkachuk 145, Hughes 127. The offense is flourishing in Florida. The most 100-point scorers on a single hockey team. And look at that, Wallstedt still carried a 910 save percentage on the best regular season hockey team of all time. 61-5-2 with 4 shutouts. If at all we lose at some point in this playoff run, there's something seriously wrong going on here. We are by far and away the best team in the NHL, the best team of all time. We should wreak havoc across the league and finally take home that Stanley Cup that Bendover has been chasing for almost 10 years at this point. It's been a long time. Those goddamn dreadful Game 7s in Florida against the Montreal Canadiens. First period, 3-0 lead, and the Florida Panthers will be moving on. The Capitals have been a very familiar foe so far in the video, and I think they've beaten us more than we have beaten them, and there it is. Down 3-1 to Washington in the Eastern Conference Finals. Somehow we actually ended up forcing a Game 7, but here comes the moment of truth. First period, we're up by 1. Second period, a 1-goal lead entering the third for Florida, getting outshot 25-22, but we have the 3-2 advantage, and Sasha Barkov will extend our lead to 2. Thankfully, the Panthers will play in the Stanley Cup Finals. If this is not the season we get it done, then Bendover will never win a Stanley Cup in his entire NHL career. This fucking game is horrible, man. We weren't even competitive. A 5-game gentleman's sweep against Colorado in the Cup Finals. We were not even close. 73 wins in the regular season, and we just got absolutely smoked by Colorado, who goes back-to-back. Despite Bendover having 35 goals and 70 points in the postseason, Colorado goes back-to-back, winning their third in 4 seasons. Bendover takes home all the individual hardware. Hughes again the Norris. The Conn Smythe will go to Makar, and the Vezina to Wallstedt. He didn't show up when it mattered the most, though. The Vancouver Canucks will win the draft lottery, and they get 2nd overall. Their first overall pick is from the Minnesota Wild, so they absolutely fleeced them. John Tavares is way older than these guys, yet retiring at the same exact time. Nylander and Marner are only 36 years old. The Panthers might end up looking extremely different heading into next season, season, Bendover hopefully re-signs. I'll have to make him. 26 years old, 99 overall. Hughes needs to be re-signed, as well as the former captain and Alexander Barkov. This team is an absolute disgrace. Bendover is still Bendover, 99 overall centerman playing the entire game. It looks like we didn't make any changes to our offense, defense. McAvoy, Sergachev, Hughes, and Zane Parekh, who we picked up, and then a 93 overall Cale Makar. Somehow we got even better, and then Jesper Wallstedt, still a 90 overall. We should be good enough to dominate the regular season, but again, it is cup or bust every single year. It has not been a good sim so far. 27-3-1 to start the season, and I do not care. I really did think putting Ben on the Florida Panthers was the best possible option because they win so much in all my simulations. But as soon as he's on the roster, they can't win shit. Make it make sense. We actually somehow had a better record going 75-4-3, 153 points, best team in the entire NHL for back-to-back seasons. Ben, yet again, is a 165 goal scorer and 316 points. Dog. Sam Reinhart had 135, Kachuk 134, Barkov was solid. Everybody basically is hitting brand new career highs late into their NHL careers. And Jesper Wallstedt, despite the fact he only lost 2 games in regulation, 2 in overtime, he only had an .895 save percentage. At this point, I could care less about the first 3 rounds of the postseason until we get it done. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. It is what it is. Well, as soon as I stopped caring what happened to the Florida Panthers, we started winning. We are 11-0 to start the playoff run, 1 win away from making the Cup Finals, and we are back in this bitch. A rematch against Colorado, who destroyed us last season. They got 3 cups in the past 4 years. They're trying to go for a three-peat. It is time to ruin it all. Finally, we have the opportunity. Home ice, game number 5 in Florida with the Stanley Cup in the building. First period, 2-0 lead. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Sam Reinhart. Second period, it is still a 2-0 lead as the Florida Panthers try to hold on. I need Jesper Wallstedt to play the best hockey of his entire career right now. We are 10 minutes away from potentially being crowned Stanley Cup champions in NHL 26. 9 seasons it would take Bendover to finally capture a Stanley Cup. For how individually dominant this guy has been, it is an absolute shock. It took us 9 seasons to get it done. 9 years! Almost a damn decade before the Florida Panthers, with the most completely overpowered team of all time, dethrones the Colorado Avalanche. Of course, Big Ben is going to take home the Conn Smythe, 22 goals, 49 points. Not even one of his best playoff runs, if I'm being honest. It was pretty mild and mediocre, but he gets it done. That's the most important part, as the Stanley Cup will be able to be raised here in Florida. It's been a long time coming, so I can finally enjoy it. Bendover is a Stanley Cup champion. There it is, Florida in the 33-34 season are Stanley Cup champions. While Bendover takes home every single major individual award, Quinn Hughes will win the Norris, Ben the Conn Smythe, and Wallstedt yet again the Vezina. It is dynasty time, baby. Dylan Strome is calling it a career. Kevin Fiala, Brock Besser, Alex Tuck, I'll be honest. These are not legendary names. Just because we won the Stanley Cup does not mean we can't get better. Matvei Mishkov, 96 overall free agent. I'm going to offer him the max amount. I don't think he's going to sign. Maybe we go after a guy like Connor Bedard instead. I'm just going to try to improve this roster every single season so Bendover can create a dynasty here in Florida. The Bendover era is finally here. We are more than good enough to go back-to-back. This forward core is absolutely filthy. Defensively, we're loaded as well. Hughes and Zane Parekh, Makar and Sergachev, and then Jesper Wallstedt has racked up like 4 Vezina trophies in a row. Meanwhile, scoring is at an all-time high. This will be our 3rd consecutive season winning 70+ games. Safe to say we figured out the regular season. It's not really much of a challenge anymore to finish at the top, but we got to go back-to-back. We got our taste of the Stanley Cup. We want more. Bendover slanging the rock around a little bit. 163 goals and 320 points. I believe a career high? Absolutely not. The man had 354 points literally 2 seasons ago, but luckily he has been the most dominant player in the NHL since he entered the league. We have the greatest offense of all time, and we have the greatest goaltender currently available, rocking an 892. Imagine losing 4 games and only having a 892 save percentage. Hopefully, we do have enough juice left to go back-to-back and demolish the Eastern Conference. Florida has been running the NHL for a long time now. That Stanley Cup just solidified that. Please, somebody explain to me how the Boston Bruins would end up beating us in, what, 6 games? We won the first 2 games and then proceeded to lose 4 in a row, where we scored 1 goal in Game 4 and in Game 5, and then in Game 6 had 6 goals, but ended up losing in overtime. I think I might have to slow down on the dynasty talk because that shit ain't working right now. Ben was great, 14 goals, 30 points in only 10 games. Nathan MacKinnon had 17, Matthew Tkachuk 16, Hughes 11, Lucas Raymond. Our team is getting a little bit older, so I'm probably gonna have to replace a lot of players just to sustain the greatness that we want to have here in Florida. Bend over, Red Rover, allow him to take another Stanley Cup over. Conn Smythe will end up going to Adam Fantilli, and we got Wallstedt the Vezina for the 5th consecutive season. Shout out to the Dead Wings for winning the draft lottery. The best player of all time until Bend over passes him, Connor McDavid, is done. His career is over. The man damn near had 2,200 points. Sam Reinhart's retiring, Philip Forsberg, Nico Hischier, Matt Barzal, and Logan Thompson is the best goaltender that is calling it a career. I mean, how could I forget Ilya Samsonov? I don't know if there's anybody that I really want to go after in free agency. Mintyukov wouldn't be bad. He's only 31 years old, 90 overall. I just got to somehow replace the players that are retiring and leaving every single season because we only have 1 Stanley Cup so far, and that is just not good enough for the GOAT. We are still rocking with Raymond, Ben, and Caulfield on the top line. Ike Howard we signed in the offseason. He'll play alongside Ben and Tkachuk. Point, Bendover, and Lundell, and then finally Nathan MacKinnon, Bendover, and Jake DeBrusk. Defensively, we're very good outside of our bottom pairing D pair. Mintyukov did end up signing with the roster, so that is great. And then Jesper Wallstedt, 88 overall. Goalies are overrated in this, so we're not really worried about that. We are worried about putting the puck in the back of the net. I think the Florida Panthers have mastered the regular season. 71-9-2. We have won like 5 or 6 years in a row, 70 plus games. We are the best team in all of hockey. We won a Stanley Cup 2 years ago and then absolutely crumbled last season. It is time to get our revenge. At this point, Bendover is a consistent 100 goal scorer and over 300 points a season. I mean, take a look at these numbers. They are absolutely godly. The man had 22 game-winning goals. Half of the NHL doesn't even score 22 goals in a single season. Isaac Howard had 149, Braden Point 146. All these guys are older and yet still putting up career highs because they play alongside the greatest player of all time and Jesper Wallstedt. I mean, the man might be on his way to his like 5th or 6th Vezina despite having pretty mediocre numbers. I mean, 5 shutouts is nice, and of course the 57 win season. We got the Battle of Florida in the very first round against Tampa Bay as we try to march towards our 2nd cup of the video. The Boston Bruins might be a tougher matchup, although we are 7-0 to start the postseason. It always goes well, and then all of a sudden we completely fall off a cliff. I have seen this story many times before. Columbus, conference finals, hopefully it all goes our way. Luckily, Ben will get another crack at a Stanley Cup, his 3rd cup finals of his career. He currently is 1-1 as we face the San Jose Sharks. I don't believe it. We are finally the team leading 3-0 in the cup finals, heading into San Jose for Game 4 with the potential to win our 2nd Stanley Cup of Ben's career. We got a 3-2 lead in the 3rd period. We need Wallstedt to hold the hell on, not allow a goal, shut the door. No, I said shut the door. Macklin Celebrini on Jesper Wallstedt. 5 minutes to go, and it is looking like we might actually have overtime on our hands. It has been a while since we hopped into a game, but I'm excited to see what Bendover can do in the cup finals with the cup in the building, a potential Stanley Cup winning goal on the horizon. Bendover on the backhand. Nice save there by Askarov. I gotta be honest, I don't even know if it's Yaroslav Askarov between the pipes. As Macklin Celebrini enters the zone, Ben picks it off, and a counterattack by Florida. Bendover turning on the wheels. Raymond in the slot, and there it is. A Lucas Raymond game-winning Stanley Cup winning goal as the Florida Panthers will dominate and sweep the San Jose Sharks in the Stanley Cup Finals, winning Bendover his 2nd cup of his career. Potential dynasty on the horizon now in Florida. It took us long enough to get here, but we are finally capturing Stanley Cups and dominating as we should with the greatest player of all time on our roster. Bendover will take home his 2nd Conn Smythe with 20 goals and 51 points. A better Conn Smythe trophy run than than 2 years ago. So that is a positive. As we get it done on the road in the Bay Area, bend over and the Florida Panthers are once again Stanley Cup champions. The dynasty has just begun. It finally seems like the playoff struggles are ending. Bend over carried the load offensively, 20 goals, 51 points. Isaac Howard had 24, Matt Tkachuk 21, Caulfield chipped in 15 goals. He was our second leading goal scorer. An extremely important piece to the roster, as realistically we could have three-peated if we just got it done last season. Bend over is still bend over. Hughes will take home another Norris. We got bend over the Conn Smythe, and Wallstedt dominating the Vezina. The Panthers are the best team in all of hockey. The Vancouver Canucks are still in the lottery, winning it. We got Vegas second, Edmonton third, and the Detroit Red Wings fourth. It is a sad sight to see Nikita Kucherov retiring from the NHL as a Dallas Star. Braden Point has also called it a career. Alexander Barkov is gone. Funny enough, the man retired as an Oiler. Tage Thompson is out of here. Jason Robertson, Jack Eichel, Patrick Laine. It is now officially time to replenish in the offseason. Landon Dupont at a 96 overall. Sounds like the perfect add to the Florida Panthers to ensure that they will become a dynasty in NHL 26. At this point, pretty much every single player wants to become a Florida Panther, play alongside Bend Over, win a bunch of Stanley Cups on the best team in the NHL, consistently winning like 70 games a season. Also, why is Brock Faber the only guy that wears glasses during his headshot? Nobody else in the game has this. Ben is not getting any younger. The man is 29 years old, has 2 cups to his resume, a bunch of individual hardware, and probably the greatest statistics of all time. The team is still good enough to win. Offensively, defensively, we're loaded. We picked up the best D-man in the world in Landon Dupont. And then we got Jesper Wallstedt between the pipes, baby. 70 wins, 8 losses, 4 in overtime for 144 points. Safe to say the Florida Panthers are not missing a beat, as we have won our 5th or 6th consecutive President's Trophy, dominating the NHL. Ben's gonna have 189 goals, 346 points. Isaac Howard had 150, Raymond 145, Quinn Hughes 106. Quinn Hughes is 37 years old and playing better than a prime Landon Dupont. Please explain that to me. And then between the pipes, Jesper Wallstedt, an .897 save percentage, 3 shutouts, and a 54-win season. The dude is getting carried. We dominated the Islanders in round 1. We are currently dominating Buffalo, en route to potentially our 3rd Stanley Cup and a back-to-back crowning moment that Florida has been waiting for a very long time. You see, this is why you always trust the process. The Florida Panthers are back in the Cup Finals, trying to go back-to-back. It was only a matter of time. Game 5, we are up 3-1 with an opportunity yet again to win the Stanley Cup. What a second period. Ben, Byfield, Sam Moskevich, Raymond, and Byfield again. 5 unanswered goals, and it is not looking good for the San Jose Sharks. Ben's gonna add insult to injury. I mean, Will Eklund gets one on Wallstedt. I think it's too little too late. The Florida Panthers are in a beautiful position to go back-to-back and win their 2nd cup in as many seasons. 3rd of the video, Bend Over's career is shaping up very, very nicely. The Florida Panthers yet again are Stanley Cup champions. The 3rd time in the Bend Over era. We finally go back-to-back, and it's starting to look like the dynasty that I once imagined. I'll be honest, it took me way longer and way more signings than I probably would have hoped. I was gonna sit back, relax, not really touch the roster probably until years 14, 15, 16, when we were completely out of touch, but we needed help early on because Ben just couldn't get it done alone. 31 goals, 59 points, another Conn Smythe to his resume. But now finally, after signing enough good players to Florida, cheating the system a little bit, we are going to have the greatest NHL career that the world has ever seen. That is ring number 3. We're not done yet. Still in our prime at 29 years of age. Bend Over Red Rover. He is officially taken over. Outside of Ben having damn near 60 points in the playoffs, Landon Dupont was a perfect addition. Pavel Mintyukov chipped in. Isaac Howard had 20 points. Lucas Raymond 19 and 10 goals. But yeah, nobody had more than 10 goals. And then there is Ben Dover having 31 in 19 postseason games. Absurd. No doubt in my mind, this man is going to go down as the GOAT of all GOATs. Les Montreal will win the NHL draft lottery. The Rangers will select second. And we got the New Jersey Devils third. David Pastrnak is retiring as a Toronto Maple Leaf. Mikko Rantanen has gone. Hold up a minute. Pasta had 955 career goals. Cale Makar is calling it a career. Kirill Kaprizov is gone. Brady Tkachuk, Jack Hughes, and Cole Caulfield. Longtime Florida Panther. I wonder who else we could sign. Luke Yonkman at a 96 overall does not sound too shabby. We should re-sign Quinn Hughes, considering he's still a 93 at 37 years old. Marco Casper, not really. Jocelyn, no thank you. Jamie Drysdale, nah. I think we go after Yonkman. The good news is he does have some interest in our team. Does he want a one-year deal, shorter term maybe? The roster definitely is not as good as it once was. I mean, we lost Cole Caulfield. He was big. Raymond and Byfield are now the wingers alongside Ben. So we might have a worse regular season. Luckily, we have a great decor that can potentially carry us to another Stanley Cup while having an 89 overall starting netminder. Yet again, we are going to be a 70-win hockey team, 9 regulation losses, 2 in overtime. There is not much else to say about Florida outside of the fact that we are the best team in the league going on for a three-peat. I believe we can do it. Ben's out here slapping around the competition. 202 goals, 360 points, probably his best season of his career. Actually, in fact, that is the best year. He will probably never peak higher than this season, so enjoy it while you can. We got Isaac Howard putting up 126, Matthew Tkachuk 123, despite the fact that the man is 40 years old. Mackie Samoskevich with 108, and then Jesper Wallstat, 900 save percentage, 3 shutouts, and 65 victories. Talk about being carried. Safe to say the playoff run did not go as planned. A second round exit to the Buffalo Sabres was definitely not on my bingo card. I fully expected to three-peat. Unfortunately, did not happen as the Utah Hockey Club beat Buffalo in a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Could have been us. Ben Dover had 23 goals and 35 points in 11 playoff games. Isaac Howard, Mackie Samoskevich, and Pavel Mintyukov really didn't help him out. Nobody else really was productive offensively, and we can't expect Jesper Wallstat to steal us hockey games, as that will never happen. We are an offensively based team. Ben is going to take home the Selke. Ted Lindsay, Maurice Richard, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Owen Power will win the Norris. Luke Yonkman, the Conn Smythe. That bastard snaked us. The German Gretzky, Leon Draisaitl, is calling it a career as a Pittsburgh Penguin. Nathan McKinnon is out of here. We got Austin Matthews retiring, Kyle Connor, and Quinn Hughes, one of the best defensemen in Florida Panthers history. This roster is a far cry away of what it once was. Luckily, we still have a 99 overall playing the middle, 31 years of age. Ben Dover is forced to carry the offensive load, and we got a great decor that is aging, and Jesper Wallstat is also 35. The clock is ticking. We also have to make sure we lock up Ben Dover on a long-term extension. He does not want 7 years, so it's going to be 19.1 on a 4-year contract with a full no movement clause. We might end up losing Ben and losing the entire video. Sheldon Keefe is now our head coach, trying to lead the Florida Panthers to a Stanley Cup. I mean, Ryan Suter did his job. He won, what, 2, 3 Stanley Cups? I can't really complain about that. We ended up locking Ben Dover up on a 4-year contract, so he will remain as a Florida Panther, thank God. Florida is going to be a borderline contending team pretty much every season moving forward until Ben starts to regress a little bit. He's 30 years old, probably 2 to 3 seasons he'll start dropping in overall. But as of right now, Panthers are great, 17-2-1, and Ben Dover is still a 99 overall player. Talk about being the GOAT. Listen, we have been a bona fide regular season juggernaut for a very long time at this point. I'm not complaining, 68 wins on the season, but the problem is, come playoff time, we rarely ever get it done. We've only had 3 Stanley Cup wins so far when it should be around 6 or 7. Big Dog Ben, 190 goals, 348 points. The man at 32 years of age is still producing, and he's still a 99 overall. We got Isaac Howard having 136, Matt Tkachuk 132, Landon Dupont's the greatest defenseman I have ever seen, and then Jesper Wallstad holding down the fort on the back end. I mean, the dude is kind of getting carried by a super team. We are basically first in every single category: goals for, Goals against, power play, our penalty kill's kind of trash. It is what it is. We went full throttle on the New Jersey Devils in 4 games in round 1. Move on to play the Sabres, who we have played many times. This is not the first time we're matching up against Buffalo. I'm pretty sure they beat us a few times. We beat them. A little bit of a back and forth rivalry as we get them out of the postseason in 6 games. Move on to the conference finals. There ain't no way Columbus is this good. Leading 3-2 over the dynastic Panthers. First period, no score. Second period, we got ourselves a 1-1 tie. We got to force a game 7 back on home ice. No, Adam Fantilli on the power play. Luckily, we will tie the game up. Shots are 33-27. The Florida Panthers trying to stay alive here in game number 6 and move on to the Cup finals. We got to worry about getting it to a game 7 first. Overtime it is then. The Blue Jackets up against the Panthers. Obviously, Columbus trying to move on to the Stanley Cup finals, and the Florida Panthers trying to keep their season alive. Over to Byfield. Can't get a shot on net, but we do have a power play. This is our opportunity on the power play in game 6. Why is Bendover not out there? I literally have power play number 1 out there. Why is he not lining up on the ice? Florida, what are we doing here? Go power play 2 then. Power play 2? Are you telling me Bendover is on power? Oh my God. The coach, what a pass. What an absolute breakout pass. I think by Landon DuPont. And here we go, Ben. Ben moving wide. Bendover in all alone. He hands it off. What an unselfish hockey player Bendover is. And what an absolute stupid one as well. A clean lane to score and bring us to a 7th game, and Bendover decides to pass it. Buddy, you're 99 overall, 6'9" lanky dumbass. I need to see it. We're going to win that puck battle. Ben. He picks it up, Bendover again. Why is Ben trying to pass the puck? His shooting tendencies is all the way over. That man is supposed to be a shooter. Bendover through the middle. Ben protecting the puck kind of, but not really. In the middle, Tkachuk takes a shot, but Flood will make the save. Is his last name really Flood? I guess it's time to throw on our top power play unit that does not consist of our 99 overall generational talent. We only got a minute left on the PP. Over to Quinton Byfield. Byfield's into the zone. Takes a shot on net. Good save by Flood. Sam Moskevich to Byfield on the backhand. A rebound. Another great save. 3-4 shots. And the Florida Panthers are unable to capitalize. We are absolutely struggling right now to find one. Sam Moskevich goes cross ice. Lucas Raymond over Perek to Brock Faber. Lines one up, and Brock Faber will force a game 7. The Florida Panthers stay alive, and then win a winner-take-all game 7 on home ice to go to the Stanley Cup finals. I will gladly take that. Thankfully, all these regular seasons are paying off. We got game 7 on home ice due to our great regular season. First period, a 4-2 lead. Second period, we only lead by 1. Adam Fantilli absolutely carrying the Columbus Blue Jackets right now. And there he is again, scoring another one, but luckily we retake the lead, scoring one on Flood. Power play for Florida. Can we extend it? Yes, we can. The captain, Ben, will make it a 2-goal hockey game, and we are moving on to the Cup finals. Hold up, Sheldon Keefe might actually bring us to a Stanley Cup championship. Leaf fans are going to be pissed. We get the Predators up against the Panthers in the Stanley Cup finals for Ben trying to grab ring number 4. I'm not going to lie, I'm panicking a little bit. We were up 3-0 this series, got dominated 9-1 in game 4, and now in game 5, we might blow it on home ice. Have to head back to Nashville to try to win the Stanley Cup. That's not going to be good. Florida, we need to tie the game up. We are only down by 1, please. 2 minutes remaining, 1 minute remaining, and the Nashville Predators have forced a game 6. Do we have our shitting pants on? Because we might need them. First period, never mind, a 5-1 stomping. 5 goals on 8 shots is absolutely insane. Second period, a 7-3 lead, and the Florida Panthers will win their 4th Stanley Cup in the Ben era, getting it done once again, dominating. Well, not really dominating. It was a game 6 in Nashville after leading 3-0 in this series, but it doesn't matter. Bendover and the Florida Panthers yet again are Stanley Cup champions. That is ring number 4, tying Wayne Gretzky. So the individual hardware and statistics are going to definitely favor Ben. Winning now is a tie between him and Gretzky. We have probably already broken all of Wayne Gretzky's record. 49 goals and 93 points in the playoff run. What the fuck? That is by far and away the best playoff run I've ever seen in any NHL video games. That's absurd. The dude damn near put up 100 points in the playoff run. What? I thought there was no way. Not even Shorzy can do that when I'm playing literally every single postseason game and be a pro. I don't even sniff 93 points, and Bendover got it done. That is the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I didn't think it was possible, but here we are. That is absolutely batshit crazy. 49 goals and 93 points in only 23 games. He will never top that. Never have a playoff run anywhere close to that. He put up 70 points like many years ago at this point, also in 23 games, but 49 goals, a damn near 50 goal playoff run. Somebody got to test him for PEDs. You are currently witnessing the greatest hockey player that has ever lived. I'm surprised he didn't even take home the Norris, despite the fact that he's not even a D-man. Bend over is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't know what's going on with Montreal's front office, but they are just not turning the franchise around. They win another draft lottery. How long have they been at the basement of the National Hockey League? Goodbye to Matthew Tkachuk. No, a Florida Panthers legend. He's going to finish with over 2,000 career points thanks to Ben. Over 800 goals as well at age 41. Kirill Marchenko is gone. Mason McTavish, Ridley Gregg. We are also going to be losing Mackie Samoskevich. I think it's time to take a swing at some of these guys in free agency. We got to make sure we stay at the top, right? We are not guaranteed to go back-to-back, so let's sign Don Walsh, the GOAT of all GOATs, to come to the Florida Panthers and play alongside the greatest hockey player that has ever lived. $19.1 million on a 7-year contract. I do not think he's going to accept. The bottom six definitely is not what it used to be. Luckily, we still got Ben at his absolute peak. The man is a 99 overall. We picked up this Spalling guy, Riley Spalling, 92 overall to play alongside Ben and Raymond. Still got the elite top six. Defensively, Ratko Gudis' son Peter's here. Zane Parekh is a 90 overall. I'm going to move up Landon Dupont instead. Our bottom pairing D isn't really the greatest chemistry-wise and overall-wise, but luckily we still have a decent starting goaltender in Jesper Wallstad, who is an 85 overall. He is probably on the brink of retirement. Safe to say the Panthers have not missed a beat. 22, 1-1 to start the season. We are back to being a 70-win hockey team, dominating the National Hockey League. I mean, we've been the President's Trophy winning team for like a decade at this point. 71 wins, 6 losses in regulation, and 5 overtime losses. Bend over is going to put up 193 goals for 343 points. At age 33, this man is still kicking it. We somehow picked up Dylan Guenther. Did we make a trade for him? There's no way I signed him. No, he played the entire season in Florida. I didn't even realize. This was not me. Isaac Howard had 119, Zane Parekh 115. All of these guys are probably going to be Hall of Famers just because of the sheer totals they're going to put up playing alongside Ben. And then Jesper Wallstad, nearing the end of his career, he's not really great. He hasn't really ever been great, but he's been good enough to get the job done, and that's all that matters. We have essentially dominated our way through the Eastern Conference. It was Buffalo in round 1, Tampa in round 2, and now a rematch in the conference finals. I know Columbus is out for blood. After the way they lost last season, they want to get their revenge. The problem is Florida's a juggernaut, but right now we got ourselves a 2-2 series tie. We go up 3-2. Can we go back to the Cup Finals? Yes, we will. St. Louis against Florida for ring number 5. It all comes down to this. Game 7, Stanley Cup Finals on home ice. Winner take all, baby. First period, thank you, Ratko Gudis' kids. Second period, we go up 3-0 thanks to Ben's 2 in the second period. And now the Florida Panthers, oh my god, Isaac Howard's gonna chip in, make it a 4-zip lead. We're absolutely cooking. For the 5th time in the video, bend over and the Florida Panthers will be crowned Stanley Cup champions. It took a game 7 do or die on home ice, but it doesn't matter. They don't ask how, they ask how many, and how many right now is 5. Passing Wayne Gretzky and Stanley Cups, bend over, I think already has cemented himself as the greatest of all time. It wasn't looking great for the first decade, I'm not gonna lie. That dude was struggling. We couldn't win the Stanley Cup. Ben puts up 39 goals and 86 points. I said he would never get close. He kind of did get close, I'm not gonna lie. But now, after this dynasty run he's been on for the past 7 or 8 seasons, he's clearly cemented himself as the GOAT. Individually, it's not close, and now team success-wise, the man has been winning at an all-time rate. 5th Stanley Cup of his career, all being with the Florida Panthers, as they are one of the best teams and franchises in NHL history. Bend over really is that dude. The greatest playoff performer of all time. Spalling had 28 points, so definitely was a great pickup by me. We got Zane Parekh having 27, Guenther 23, Lucas Raymond 23. Explain to me how Dylan Guenther was a -5 on this team. Bend over is still bend over, and the Florida Panthers have dominated the past 5 seasons of hockey. It would have been a 5-peat, but those goddamn Utah Mammoth. The Red Wings are still the Dead Wings. Goodbye to Clayton Keller, Rasmus Dahlin, Wyatt Johnston, Frank Nazar, Timmy Stu. A lot of young players are starting to retire from the league, and Yaroslav Askarov, a goaltender that has not even become a starter in real life yet. We are definitely nearing the end of Bendover's career. He's still got some time left. The dude's not washed up and he's not like 40 years of age, but we're at the back end of his career for sure. Well, we finally have the first chink in the armor. Bendover no longer is a 99 overall player. Instead, he'll be a 97, which is still absolutely fantastic. He's still going to put up a boatload of points and be dominant, but the decline is here. He's 33 years old. I don't think he's going to get any better. If anything, he's going to get worse. 68, 9, and 5. A great record. Even at a 97 overall, Ben is still Ben. 183 goals, 322 points. The rest of the Florida Panthers, though, are definitely getting worse. We only had 2 other players hit over 100 points, when usually it's like 7 to 10. So the offense is not where it used to be, and Jesper Wallstedt between the pipes had a sub 900 save percentage. Great record, of course, being carried by the squad, but the dude is only an 81 overall. We gotta find a new goaltender ASAP. Well, safe to say that did not go our way. We got thrashed in 5 games by the New York Rangers. It has been a long time since we've been a first round exit. We didn't really have much of a playoff run. We only played 5 games, but Ben had 6 goals and 13 points, was a -5. But again, the man is playing the entire game. As we have the St. Louis Blues beating the New York Rangers in 6 games in the Cup Finals. Bendover will still take home all the individual hardware. We got Matthew Schaefer finally winning a Norris. The Conn Smythe will go to Kent Johnson, and then Jesper Wallstedt, still the Vezina Trophy winner. Maybe the greatest goaltender of all time? We got longtime Florida Panther Lucas Raymond finally retiring after 1,700 points. Goodbye to Cole Perfetti. Marco Rossi is out of here. Capo Caco, Matty Beniers, and Lane Hudson. In the re-sign phase, luckily Bendover, 98 overall at 34 years old is not bad. For reference, the man was a 97 to start the season. We only got 1 more year with Landon Dupont. We have to re-sign him. Everybody else, though, pretty much is locked up as we near the tail end of Bendover's historic National Hockey League career. Bendover Red Rover has dropped down to a 96 overall. Luckily, we do have a very good top line, but outside of that, I can't even lie. This forward core is not very good. Defensively, we still have Landon Dupont and Zane Parekh. H. Taylor is a guy we signed in the offseason, Holden Taylor. He's going to play alongside Ratko Gudis' kid, and then between the pipes, we have Reasoner, as Jesper Wallstedt is nowhere to be found. Probably for good reason, too. Despite the fact that on paper we don't look nearly as good as we usually do, we're still great. 45, 9, and 3 to start the season. We are going to end up finishing with a record of 66, 12, and 4. 136 points on the season. It is safe to say the Florida Panthers, they ain't going anywhere. As dominant as ever, Bendover with 192 goals, 324 points. Absolute madman. We got Landon Dupont with 124, Isaac Howard 109, Spalling had 101, and for our netminder Reasoner, I mean, the dude did have 6 shutouts, but an 898 save percentage, that smells a lot like Jesper Wallstedt. Carolina in round number 1, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea who's on what roster. We are so deep into the franchise mode, we basically only have created players and like very, very young guys from year number 1, so who knows who the Hurricanes have. I fully believe the Florida Panthers have a better team, and we prove it in Game 7, and then we move on to play the Tampa Bay Lightning. Back in the Cup Finals, trying to get ring number 5 for Bendover up against the Los Angeles Kings. The Florida Panthers are going to be able to get it done once again. Bendover has led this franchise to now 5 Stanley Cups in his NHL career. He's already cemented himself as the greatest of all time. We get it done in Game 6 in Los Angeles, and the party will be epic. Hookers, blow, Sydney Sweeney, the Hollywood Lights. It's literally limitless. Of course, Ben is going to be named the Conn Smythe winner, 49 goals and 78 points. It seems like as he's gotten older, he's actually gotten a lot better in the postseason, at least statistically. The man has been putting up absolutely godly numbers in the postseason, and he is going to be rewarded with another Stanley Cup, number 5 of his NHL career. The Florida Panthers are going to finish their season with a record of 54, 24, and 4, still at the top of our division. We are no longer the best team in hockey, but it really doesn't matter at this point. Ben Dover has accomplished so much. I'm just here to enjoy the remainder of his historic NHL career. The GOAT! Ben will finish with 171 goals, 304 points. Nobody else on the team even sniffed close to 100. I mean, technically, Irwin was only one away. Lacassin had 97, Spalling 92, Lena Dupont 83, and for our goaltender, Rodney had an .865 save percentage, which is by far and away the worst we have had the entire video, and yet we were still a 50-win hockey team. We got the Blue Jackets in round number 1. I don't know if it's going to be a tough matchup, an easy matchup. At this point, I'm here for the ride. I'm here for another Stanley Cup, and the Florida Panthers have the ability to do so with Ben Dover leading the charge. Well, there will be no Stanley Cup finals for the Florida Panthers this season. We ended up losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning, I believe, in 6 games. I would say it's a tough way to go out, but we literally won the Stanley Cup last season, so I don't really care. The Lightning would ultimately go on, win the Stanley Cup, dominating the Utah Mammoth in 5 games. Ben Dover had 19 goals and 31 points in only 11 playoff games. It's goddamn laughable. We are almost 20 years into franchise mode, and the Chicago Blackhawks are back to winning the draft lottery. Bedard, what the hell happened? We got Adam Fantilli, one of the greatest hockey players of all time, retiring. The man had over 1,400 goals and 2,517 points. Huh? Zach Benson is calling it a career. Logan Cooley is out of here. Logan Stankoven, Matt Savoy, Oilers legend. Ben Dover needs to be re-signed. He does not want an extension in Florida. I don't know why he wouldn't want one. We absolutely have to give him the max, a 2-year contract at 36 years of age, please. Okay, the dude said he'd get back to me. We're okay. Ben Dover is still a legit #1 guy, 91 overall, still playing the entire game at age 36. This dude's cardio is off the charts. We are still going to be a 50-win hockey team, going 54, 20, and 8, 116 points, leading the Atlantic, and only the Calgary Flames were better in the regular season. As long as we have Ben on the roster, I highly doubt we'll ever be a bad team. Frankly, because this man produces up to 300 points per season, this year is only 292. 166 goals. We got Lankinson with 107 points. Nick Patan's kid had 80. Irwin 79. I don't even know who's on the hockey team anymore. Luckily, we still have Landon Dupont, who's 34 years old. And Ben Dover himself is no spring chicken. The man is nearing retirement, backstopped by probably one of the worst goaltenders we've had throughout the entirety of the vid. Trash! Unfortunately, we are going to have back-to-back seasons where we lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, our best player, Ben, led the charge. The man had 24 goals and 39 points in only 12 games. Age really is just a number. Shout out to Philly, finally getting it done, dominating Utah in 5 games. Man, the Mammoth, they have just been absolutely lost in the Cup final the past 2 seasons. This will be Ben's first season, not in the 90 overall club. The man is only 89 overall, 37 years of age. We're getting close. Florida has finally taken a little bit of a step back, only 48 wins on the season, second in our division as we're going to play Boston in round number 1. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they have been like the most successful over the past 3 years, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, 60, 16, and 6, they are so back. Ben Dover will complete the greatest 38-year-old season in National Hockey League history, 171 goals, 313 points. We made it to the second round of the postseason, but unfortunately lost to New Jersey, and I'm not even gonna lie, they kind of dominated us. A 5-game series, they were clearly the better team, as the Philadelphia Flyers will get it done over Colorado in 6 games in the finals. The Avalanche were our rival for a little bit. Dear God, Ben Dover had 11 goals and 29 points in only 9 postseason games. That man still has it. At 38 years of age, Ben Dover has called it a career. The man had over 1,600 games played, over 3,000 goals, and 5,700 points. P. Shorzy, funny enough, is also retiring in the same exact season. He was not even remotely close to Ben, though. Matvei Mishkov is gone, Macklin Celebrini, Hanzik. But Ben Dover, the greatest hockey player that has ever lived, he would end up finishing at a 90 overall at 38 years old, having the most storybook career probably of all time, a career high 202 goals, 360 points. That is absolutely absurd. His postseason numbers were probably even crazier, 438 goals, 457 assists for 895 points in only 309 games, and the greatest playoff run of all time, 49 goals, 93 points in only 23 games, and a Stanley Cup. He's going to finish his career with 6 Stanley Cups, 6 Conn Smythes, 19 Hart trophies, 20 Ted Lindsay awards, 20 Art Rosses, 20 Maurice Richards. He's got 19 Selke trophies, a Calder trophy, and 17 Lady Bings. That man was awesome. Ultimately, Ben will call it a career, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Help your boy out. I thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.